Hey friends, it's Gary from Sandswept Journeys. Welcome back to the channel. We are at Fort Trumbull. It's right behind me. This fort goes from the Revolutionary War all the way through, and it's really cool. It's in Connecticut, so let me get the camera turned around and we'll take you with us. This fort was originally here in the Revolutionary War, and the British burned it to the ground, and the structure that you're seeing now has actually been built up over time. Kind of hard to see, but way off in the distance over there is the other fort that we were at while we were up here, and that's Fort Griswold, right across the river. Inside the front gate coming into the fort, they've got this massive structure up here with chains and pulleys where they could bring up what was essentially almost like a portcullis that would slide up and down on these big beams right here to close in the front of the gate. And then of course you have the big wrought iron gates here. And similar structure in the back here, you've got huge hinges up in the top and the bottom where big doors would swing shut back there as well, or swing down. Really amazing how they built these places. And again, you have windows that lead into this area. So if they made it in here, this was a killing zone. So you have windows that the soldiers could shoot out of from the room behind here and into this area. So even if you were to breach these gates in this entrance, you still had to make it through this corridor with all of these windows, and they were shooting at you while you were, trying to get in here. We are walking into the entrance of Fort Trumbull, and really cool. So let me turn the camera around so you can see as we emerge from the entrance. So as we emerge out into the fort, it's a star-shaped fort. And obviously here's some quarters, officers' quarters and barracks and things of that nature. And then you've got the batteries where the cannons would have been. And we'll give you a closer look at one of the cannons here in just a minute. But really cool. What a neat structure and fort. Inside the fort, they've got some artifacts and things in here. And this was a bottom reflected active sonar or brass device that. So this system was utilized in the 1950s, 1955 Navy underwater sound laboratories. When you come to these old forts, you'll see these structures like this on the floor, and these were actually the runners for the cannons, and the cannons would be mounted up in that area up there, and they would rotate back and forth like this. We'll show you a cannon here in just a minute. And then all of the windows or gun ports were angled so that you could get the cannon on these, very sharp angles and shoot them out. And you could rotate from one side to the other with the cannon. Really cool. Obviously, this fort was used a lot for harbor defense, and as you can see, there is a commanding view of the harbor. All of these guns could have been brought to bear at any time to fire out there into the harbor. This fort was used for a lot of purposes, and it was used during the Revolutionary War, where it was burned, and then of course the Civil War. The battles never got this far, but they used it for a lot of different training, and it was used all the way up through the Cold War. This gives you an idea of some of the things that they did in World War I. They were actually doing seaplanes and different things like that out of here as well, and really cool. So this shows you one of the cannon batteries. It's a mock-up of it, obviously, but it shows you the cannon emplacement and the people on the cannon aiming at the loaders, the officer calling out the orders. And you can see the trackway underneath where they could rotate this gun, and it would slide back and forth on this trolley. And the gun would slide down there to fire. Then they would bring it back up with recoil and pin it in place. And then they would load it and then release the pin, bring it back down, and fire it again. And just imagine the sound of these guns going off when you were in here in this concrete and block structure, and it just had to be absolutely deafening. Plus the smell of the gunpowder and everything, just unbelievable. Here's a view inside one of the offices. Obviously, this would have been probably World War I or World War II era. And they have this one more appropriate to I would assume the Revolutionary War or Civil War era in here. I'm thinking Civil War because there's a picture of Ulysses S. Grant up on the wall. But either way, a little bit more period correct for that time frame. And this would have probably been set up more like officer quarters or engineers. People a little bit more of prominence in here during that same time, Revolutionary War. One of the things that always amazes me when I'm in these buildings is how cool they stay because of all the stonework and the rocks and the shade, but it's amazing how cool they are inside. Okay, we're stepping inside now from the courtyard area and across from where the guns are, and we're going to go into the powder room in here and weaponry armory, and obviously got some mock-up stuff in here, but cool how they would put all this stuff as far away from the guns as they could, but to keep it safe, but in these rooms that were designed to contain everything. And this room has got bars on the windows, and it's got a big metal door, so this is probably the brig or possibly a guardhouse. Either way, I don't think you would want to be in there and locked in. Doesn't look fun. So this would be a more traditional, probably bunkhouse type setup where you've got multiple bunks per the room set up for the soldiers, and it would more than likely been full of bunks in here during the time. Okay, we are going up to the upper level. So up the stairs we go. And when you emerge from this circular stairway, you are up on top, and there are more cannon emplacements up here. So you had all the big guns downstairs, and you had some more big guns up here. And this is kind of interesting because you have a circular ring here, obviously, and this would have been for a large gun to be mounted up here on a platform that could swing around and protect the harbor up here, but also be used to repulse anybody coming from this direction. And you have areas over here, like most forts, where they would mount smaller guns on pedestals, or swivel guns, if you will, just to repel other people that were attacking the fort by ground. So here's a view from up top. I'm standing in one of the outcrops where the big guns would have been up here, and really cool. Of course, you got General Dynamics right across the way, and again, off in the distance over there is Fort Griswold that we were at. I'm always amazed when I come to these forts because they are essentially weapons. They were basically killing machines of the time, just like castles were back, in England and Europe. They built the castles for defense and to repel people that were attacking them. Well, these forts were built for the same purpose, and they were just amazing feats of engineering for the time, and really, really astonishing to see the amount of work that goes into them. Okay, so one quick pan around before we're up here, and you can see the size of these forts. They were not very big, and there was a lot of people in them. And so I'm going to flip the camera around so you can see just how magnificent this fort is. And so this shows the courtyard from up above and the quarters, and back over there was where the battery was, full of ammunition and powder, and then come around, and that's the entrance right there. And every square inch of these forts would be utilized. There was really no waste at all, and they were built for a purpose. I'm going to walk over the wall. I'm going to show you one more quick thing. So during World War II, the Electric Boat Company built PT boats, and it is literally right across the river from where I'm standing right now. So that is the Electric Boat Company. It's been there, all these buildings have been here since World War II or even older, and that's where they would build the PT boats, and they would bring them out, launch them right over here into that area, and this is where they would test them coming in and out through here and out into the bay over there. And this is just living history right here. We are walking around on history. Right down in this area you see these mounds. These were powder magazines that probably go back to, again, like that War of 1812 time. And then you've got some more areas over here. There's another parade ground off to the side over there, and then there's of course the docks that, for the actual fort itself. But really, what an amazing structure. So this was the North Battery right here, and it was obviously a big gun, and right up there was where we were just standing, and the Electric Boat Company is right over there. And this was dating back to the 1800s and 1880s to early 1890s is when this battery was here, put here. And this was I think a 15-inch Rodman gun that was installed in 1861. This says 1876. I'm assuming that these were probably built to house, they would put their powder and their ammo in these and to protect them. And also they would put earthworks, for the big guns that were here, the big 16-inch Rodman guns. But really cool how they put everything they needed in close proximity to keep it as safe as possible. We're standing in front of the blockhouse now, and this is, according to what the sign says here, this is from 1781, or dates back to that far, and it's one of the oldest structures on this fort. Here's a shot of the blockhouse, and this thing is really thick. I mean, these walls are probably about 3 feet thick and really built. There's a small structure in the top that you could get into, but this thing would house as many as 50 people at one time in an emergency. And it was designed for them to stay in for long periods of time. And boy, you talk about tight quarters. Obviously we can't go inside because it's gated, but show you the inside of this house, and it really something to see. It was built to withstand a lot. The walls are thick, curved roofs, big truss in the middle. But this is an old structure. It's the oldest structure on the grounds. So there's all these slots in the building, and we're assuming these were to put your muskets out of and shoot out of, because they're not at an appropriate height for some type of structure inside, or to be a beam going through. And what an amazing structure, though. I mean, this thing was built. All right, so I'm back down in the courtyard of Fort Trumbull, and what an amazing place. And I really appreciate my friends Pam and her husband Tim for bringing me here and showing me this really amazing fort. And again, Fort Trumbull, I hope you enjoyed it. Very quick tour, a lot of history here. And remember, life's all about the journey. Go out and explore, go camping, and we'll see you in the next one.